Hi, guys. I don't know why that was so loud. Hopefully it didn't kill your ears. At the same time it was killing mine. Oh, hold on. I just realized that we're looking at a little bootleg here. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry, guys, if that did that to your ears again. Greetings, Silver. What's up, Franco? So, Vinny is not here yet, but we did say the stream was going to start at 10. So I figured I'd come hang out with you guys. We've got my sandwich, because I love to eat. And I've got my Red Bull for, it's now 11 o'clock at night. I'm about to indulge. All right, let's see. Ben Bear. Hey, what's up, Ben? Ben, you have a stream. We gotta book that date, right? We haven't set. You wanted next Tuesday. I'll let you know on that one. This confirms. Sorry's an alien. Those alien noises. Yes. I'm one of the Greys. Oh, really, Franco? You've got some goodies for 2024. Those the warning stream. People seem to be really enjoying it. What's up, Jambi? Thanks, Dwayne. I actually bought this for Christmas. It was just like a regular shirt, nothing super fancy, because this Christmas was not super fancy. But I bought the shirt, and then I bought like a little black beanie that went with it, but somehow I lost it, because turns out like almost every child in my family likes to wear hats. So anytime they saw it, Jimmy, I don't know what you're talking about. I never even knew you got banned. Or are you just trolling? All right. So, Dwayne, what time do you have to go to bed at? Actually, I don't even need to wear this. What am I doing? It's not like I can hear you guys. You know how we play Fortnite? Well, I've been playing with the headphones on, and it's kind of cute because you end up playing with these little kids. And some of them really don't know like safety protocols, so it's always good to be right up there to be like, hey, don't tell your name, whatever, don't do that. They're cute. They're cute though. They get really happy when they win. I was trying to actually listen to. Okay, so here's a thing. Oh, hell banned you many moons ago, and every time I jump back on after I was unable to comment. Oh, okay. Well, we stick behind our mods. I don't know what you did, but it must have been something. So I've been watching these. I like those documentaries that are like true crime sort of things or whatever. But there's one that I saw on YouTube years ago, and it was the story of this. Well, it's like debatable, I guess, whether or not this person is a child or an adult. And the person's name is Natalia, and they like got adopted and stuff. It's a pretty crazy story because if the person does turn out to actually have been a child, which I think that they were when they got adopted, they had like some developmental issues, like growing wise, so it was hard to tell. But anyway, if they were in fact like a child when they got adopted, the way that these people treated them is just straight crazy. And I'm only on episode 2. But I brought that up to say I was playing Fortnite and I played around with these kids. They were having a good time because we won. And then they wanted to play more rounds while keeping the headset on, but I wanted to listen to true crime, so I'm not trying to indoctrinate everybody's kids with true crime. So I had to unfortunately turn it off, hang out with the people there, and then I jumped off and eventually listened to half an episode, but I wanted to listen to more. All right, let's see. Ian, yeah, their voices are so cute because they're like at that point where you don't even know if you're talking to a little boy or a little girl, but either way they have like basically the same mindsets about the game. It's cute. Yeah, I was forced to join with the brats. Although it's weird because I end up putting all my kids to bed and then I go on Fortnite and play Fortnite with more kids. I'm like, my life is surrounded by children, my God. The stream tonight is the alliances. I think it's basically all Anarchy 99. We're just waiting for Vinny to show up. he got a little bit tied up, and I just thought, you know what? Fuck it. I've been hanging out with kids all day. Maybe I'll start the live stream and hang out with some other people, probably closer to my age, so that'd be cool. Yeah, so it's Anarchy 99, but then we also have, after we do the 4 songs for Anarchy 99, there's going to be an extra song that's a bonus song for you guys. It's a new band that's looking to kind of get their information out there. So they had a cool name, like the Gathering of the Bones or something like that. Yeah, I guess I'll hang out with more kids my age. All right. He was on my live stream at the end, Mike Franco stream. Wait, who? Who was on your live stream? Oh, Dwayne. You were the one that did it? Dwayne, what happened? Why did he get Why did he get banned? What did he do? Tell us. So we know it doesn't get repeated. Also, because we want to hear the story. Oh, Dwayne, you liar. All right. Did you take supplements on the order of Vin's regimen? So Vinny is like really, really good at taking his vitamins. I have this thing where when I take my vitamins, I want to be completely relaxed, and I can't be completely relaxed. I'll tell you why. When I take those vitamins, my stomach always feels upset. So anyway, like I want to have all of my stuff, like my morning stuff done before I take my vitamins, so that make sure everybody gets fed, make sure both Vin's coffees get made, make sure that the kids are changed and everybody's situated, whatever. And then once everybody's good, then I will start like to get my food and to get my vitamins or whatever. But a lot of times it takes so long to get all that stuff done that then I'll be like, oh, I should do a load of laundry. Oh, I should do this. And the list just kind of keeps growing in my head. And then some of the times I don't end up getting there to take those vitamins, but I do want to take them because I do think that the health benefits are there, and I feel better if I take them consistently. So that's good, I guess. Hey, how clear is the picture? Are you guys seeing it in like 480, or are you guys seeing it like right up there? Okay. Ian says, during a break on a bike ride, I was called a pedophile by some kids. So I called them squeakers and they called me the N-word. They wanted to call the cops, but they were 13 and underage drinking. What? Oh my gosh. Well, Ian, what did you do? You pulled over your bike to talk to these underage drinkers? Ben, okay, didn't the name The Gathering of Bones remind you of the passage in Ezekiel 37 when the dry bones form together? That's exactly what I thought of. Yeah. Yeah, that's so interesting. I love that passage. And I was just thinking about it the other day. But I can't remember what my thought was now. But it was like all of this new information coming out about aliens and stuff. So there was this guy that my parents knew. Oh God. And he was like, my father had invited him to church to go with him, and then he, like, years later was like, you know what, I'm gonna take you up on that. And he ended up going to church with my parents, but then, like, he started watching these, like, History Channel type things, stuff about aliens and all things like that, and it was, I think, a bit confusing to him, and he was, like, kind of leaning more on the alien side. And then they had, like, this weird event that happened in their backyard, where he saw like it looked like a light just came straight down and then across. So it literally like made a cross in his backyard, and the arms of the cross like wrapped around his house. But I think that, hold on guys, that event didn't end up, I think that actually ended up adding more confusion for him, because then he was like thinking, well, was that God? Was that aliens? Are aliens God? And it just kind of like started a whole bunch of questions for him. And at the time, I mean, I was a teenager, so it's not like I was going to be involved in the conversation. I merely heard the gossip. But anyway, I did not believe in any sort of alien stuff. And if you said that you believed in any sort of possibility of an alien, I like in my mind like put you on like this little island for like the crazies, basically. I would kind of think I actually didn't start thinking like maybe there's something about this until Vinny was saying that he believed that there could be something out there. I was like, what are you talking about? I thought he was a little bit insane, but it was Vinny, so I was like, well, let me hear what he has to say. And then obviously since then we've been hearing all kinds of craziness. The government's putting out stuff and whatnot, which I'm not even sure, why or what is behind all of that. But I do believe in, I guess you could say, interdimensional beings, or like in Christianity, it's all over the place. You've got, stories of demons and stuff like that. So there's not really a problem point in the whole thing for us. But let's see. I saw a question. Sorry. When are we getting the song? I want to hear if my bass parts have changed. I mean, it means it seems the second coming will happen before the song's released. Well, news to you, Jambi. The second coming happened in AD 70. But as far as the song, we are in the middle of like this like sort of crazy transition, and pray that like the last like little thing that has to happen just kind of takes place, so we can sort of get out of this purgatory resting place that we've been in. I don't want to sound too complainy, because God's been good even in the midst of all that, but there's been a lot going on. So yeah, once that last thing happens, then we're gonna kind of I think that's gonna usher in phase what is Vinny calling it, season 4? Yeah, Jason. Well, it depends on which theology you look into, but Jesus talked about it, and it was said like, this generation won't pass away until you see the Son of Man return, blah blah blah. And it was clear that the judgment was for Jerusalem at that time. Now remember, that's the city that essentially, that's where Jesus died and was killed over there. So yeah, have you read what happened in AD 70? It's called Wars of the Jews, and you can actually listen to it, I'm pretty sure, on YouTube, and it is friggin' crazy. If you know the biblical accounts for what's going to happen like during the tribulation, or any of that end time stuff, if you know those verses and then you listen to Wars of the Jews, it's crazy because they intersect at so many points. You're like, yo, it's unbelievable. It was probably, I like thrillers. I'm not a gore person, but I definitely like thrillers. And that was like, Vinny and I were driving around in this sort of like, I'll tell you what town it is. It's Augusta, Maine. And it's kind of like behind, it's just sort of like, it just kind of feels lonely and sort of quiet, and like not like a lot is going on. Apologies to anybody that lives there. It is the state capital. But yeah, it was crazy driving through there. It was like dusk, and we were listening to this, and it was just like intersecting, and some of the stuff that was happening in that city was just friggin' insane. Like what they did, the people that were inside the city when it came under siege. And if you'll remember, there's verses that talks about that the Christians would be warned, and it said, don't go back to your house to collect anything. As soon as you see the Son of Man return, like go to the mountains. Don't go back for your cloak. Don't go back for anything. Well, when the city was surrounded, I think it was Titus or Tacitus. You know what? Don't quote me on who the person is. Vinny's much better with those facts than I am. But whoever was sieging them randomly pulled out, and history doesn't record why he did this. So they surrounded the city, then he backs away, and that's the opportunity that the Christians got to escape the city. Everybody that didn't escape stayed there, and then the city got under siege again, and everybody was trapped inside the city, and it is friggin' crazy what went on inside that city. For instance, one of the things was the, you guys, who are those people that, I can't think of it right now, that they wanted like the death of Rome. They were like trying to stop all that stuff, but they were kind of in secret because you weren't supposed to have daggers or anything like that. What are they called? I cannot remember. Middle, do you know what I'm talking about? I want to say, I keep thinking Iscariot, but that's Judas Iscariot. That's not what I'm talking about. But anyway, so you had insurrectionists. The insurrectionists wanted to destroy Rome. Obviously, they were very angry with what with what was happening to them and what was happening to their people, the crucifixions and everything. Yeah, they were zealots as well. But yeah, they ended up wanting the people in the city to fight. And so they had like grain that was supposed to last them for, I don't remember if it was 2 years or 7 years or what. It was going to last them a while. The city was set up to be under siege and to be able to keep functioning in that situation. But they decided to go and burn all the food because they thought that was going to motivate the people to fight. But it didn't matter. Like, God was against that city. And they were going to pay for the death of Christ and what they did. So yeah, Ian, you can ask any question you want. I think you're right, Ben, that it is spelt like that. My eyes look purple? That's weird. Or blue. Yeah, so that was, it was just crazy, like, what they did with the people, and then, you know, people ended up eating their kids, and it got crazy up in there. And what was happening in the night and during the day, and I don't know, there was people that wanted to be dead. It was just insane. It was really crazy. Okay, let's see. Yeah. I don't know why my eyes are looking purple, because they literally look exactly like they look in real life right here. Maybe a little bit brighter because I've got that light. So wait a minute, Ben, what are you saying? Unless this is some pop culture thing I don't know about. What? It's actually pretty relatively new, the doctrine that, like the rapture and all that stuff, that's dispensationalism, and that's actually, you know, relatively new in regards to church history. Yeah, Jason, nothing changed about what's going to make us go to heaven. Like, we're rapture, no rapture, this, that, none of that stuff changes what actually gets us to heaven. And what actually gets us to heaven is simply the grace. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Apologies. We'll be on a Yeah, most people were taught the same thing. Like, I mean, I grew up with that idea too about the rapture and everything else like that. It was actually surprising to, when I started listening to Wars of the Jews, how different it actually was. Once you have that information.
I've arrived. I think. Woo, that was quite the adventure. All right, guys. Good to see everybody. Oh, wow, Jamboree.
Yeah.
Jamboree's in the house.
Apparently he got banned a while ago.
Jamboree got banned? Who banned him?
I'm not sure. It was a little unclear.
Dispensationalism is new. Joking. However, premillennialism is as old as the church. Yep. Hillyism, unfortunately, has been around since the beginning.
Keep push that way.
All right, guys. Woohoo! Okay, so who? The intellectual mind.
That's because they've been asking me all these questions, and I've been answering in a sorry way. Well, there's also this.
This echo there. Is loud as hell, bro.
It's because that mic is right by your headphones. We usually have it over here.
Or it
Sleeve
could be
it?
that we don't have echo cancellation on. That might have something to do with it too.
Oh, you're so smart. All right.
What we on? What's going on? What we doing?
We're waiting for you to start now, I guess.
Can you guys hear me at all? Let me know if you got. Let me find out Silver Kyrie is in this bitch.
Oh no, Dwayne.
Dwayne's about to go to bed. I just need to know if you guys can hear me or not. Once you say you can hear me, then we'll be good to go, inshallah. Let me see here. Yep, that's going. You guys definitely should be able to hear me. That's good. It's coming through without any echo on my side either. All right. All right, here we go. Song. Do we have the thing up on Trello and all that shit?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna read that up. Where'd Trello go? Did we just put him down?
Nope, he was completely good and quiet this entire time.
Okay, so this is a secret Santarchy pick for negative. Did we read everything or whatever?
No, literally, we waited for you to start the stream. We were just hanging out.
All right. So here we go. Secret Santarchy pick for negative vibes. Where's the actual? What's the name of the song? What are we doing?
Well,
you already have it.
It's already downloaded. Yeah, it's
okay.
Right here. Rain looks like.
Okay. The name of the band is Burst. The name of the song is Rain. Gotcha.
Santa Neil has chosen the song Rain by Burst for negative vibes. Burst are a progressive metalcore hardcore band from Sweden.
Progressive metalcore? Is that the same? Progressive metalcore and hardcore? All right, let's check it out. I didn't know that hardcore could be progressive. All right. Let's do it. Where is it?
Look for the one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It must be this one. Yeah.
High on Fire, Baghdad?
I don't know why it's saying.
How many songs do we have?
There's a total of 5 because we got 4 for the Alliance. And I don't know if they'll be here by the end or what. I actually didn't.
Okay, negative. Is this a song? Is this the song right here?
Yeah, High on Fire is right.
High on Fire. Okay, that's odd. All right, so it's not called Rain? No, middle is saying no. That's the list for tomorrow night's stream.
Oh. Well, I went with the one dated for the 16th, which is today. Oh, shit, no. Hold on.
Give us a second, guys.
The one dated the 16th right here. High on Fire. That's the one you should be reading. Click on that. Yeah. Click.
Well, give me a second. I need to make sure. Tonight is High on Fire. Tomorrow is Burst. So we don't have any of these then.
Yeah, we do. We have High on Fire. You were reading off the wrong list.
Okay, I just want...
Just go click here.
Reading the list you get. Give me 1 second. I just want to see what middle says. So middle, the first song should be High on Fire, Baghdad, right? There is a stream tomorrow, probably. But I just, middle, tell me the title of the first song. We're not going anywhere, guys. I'm just going to take care of something real quick with the baby. I just want to make sure we're on the right stream. You feel me? Give me 1 second. Is he hungry or something? You know, he's got everything he needs or what?
He should.
Talking about the baby.
He should.
All right, cool. What happened here? All right, guys. Give us... Listen to Negative. High on Fire is the first song. All right. All right, guys. Here we go. Song number 1. High on Fire. Do we have the lyrics for that joint yet, though? And also, Silver is somebody's song, because you wrote me that somebody has a song out. Are we covering that person's song as well, Silver? Trying to be subtle here. You know what I'm talking about? Just sent me a text a couple days ago. All right, guys, here we go. Song number 1. What is this, Baghdad? Let me see here. High on Fire by Baghdad. Okay, that's the name of the band. All right, you ready? Let's do this shit. Let's go. That was a little taste of what you're going to get from Baghdad High on Fire. All right. Now we have a proper introduction. I will read it to you, beautiful people. Since last year, Secret Santa Stream went off so well. This is E99, by the way. We decided to do it again this year. I borrowed the idea that Archero came up with from the EU, with the EU Alliance, where we gathered anyone that wanted to participate and then assigned them another Alliance member. They were then tasked to go pick out the perfect Christmas gift in the form of a specific song by checking through their activity on the board. See what I said about the commercial, which is unfortunately going away, but you know, you have community, blah, blah, blah. This is an example. All the alliances have their own little things that they do, okay? So just because this particular alliance does it this way, you can have another alliance that has a completely different thing. That's the beauty of it. Okay. They're tasked to go out and pick a Christmas gift in the form of a specific song by checking through their activity on the board, chats that they've had during music lounge nights, and so on to figure out just the right song. We will reveal who picked out each song in real time as we go through the night. The first secret Santarchy pick is from Middle Earth to SGS. I thought you said you were gonna wait till tonight to reveal the. Okay, it's a track Baghdad from the legendary psychedelic sludge metal band High on Fire. All right, so the name of the song is Baghdad. The name of the group is High on Fire. Let's rewind it right to the beginning and start it.
Knowledge of the other side. Deep weeds and no shot.
That was in C minor.
Fools.
For all the plebes.
For all those who didn't know.
For all of you frauds who don't really know real music.
That was an interesting, kind of had some sludgy sounds to it.
Listen, dear listener, public service announcement. You come in here talking all reckless, saying all types of reckless shit, cool, I'm with it. But when people give it back to you, don't be a bitch. It's 2024. I'm not playing with nobody. Simple. All right, that's a public service. I don't even want none of that shit that person says even fucking. Fuck them. Okay. Good. Get out then, bro. Good, leave. Nobody wants your fucking negativity all the time, bro. What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay, here we go. Quickening of the elder. Knowledge of the other. Okay, let me back up here. Sludge. Anytime I hear sludge to me, all I think about is there's a fuzzy setting on my amp and my distortion pedal. And so like you hit the fuzz thing and it has that like feedback, and then it like you play it, it's a lot more chunky. It's a lot more chunky. And so because of that, I generally don't like sludge because I feel like it's like the crunch, like when you go down, it's not as like satisfying for some reason. It's like it's very hard to express. It's like one of those things on like stage where you throw a brick and you're like, oh my god, it's a brick, and then it's like really this big foam thing, and there's nothing like really in it.
Okay.
That type of shit.
That's a good explanation, I think.
It's that type of shit that I'm on. So, like, I generally don't like sludge for that reason because I have a hard time like getting like feeling or seeing the heaviness in sludge. But this one, the rhythmic way in which they did it, I was actually able to catch it and like, yo, this is heavy, heavy, heavy. So I love that. I love well, everybody knows, like, if you're a Korn fan, you're going to love the low-end stuff. You're going to love the E and all the rest of it. Where was it? B minor or whatever it is. But you're going to like the sludgy... Go ahead.
He said it was C.
Yeah, Korn was, well, I think they had 7 string, drop A, drop B, whatever. But they were actually able to make it heavy, even if it was, on that fuzzy setting, which was one of the first things that I caught. I'm like, yo, these guys made... thick, yeah, exactly. They made sludge still heavy, which I'm sure a lot of sludge fans are like, what are you talking about? Sludge is the heaviest thing in the world. It probably is, but you guys know I don't really know a lot about music.
I pictured a muddy road.
Oh, they stole those riffs from Jimmy.
Ground into the mud every time it was getting like heavy. I thought it was like that.
Agree.
I liked it as well.
Listen to Dwayne and his lies. Korn is a minor band. Korn are a legendary band, sir. And more people in my age bracket know about them than your old Beatles. Actually, I don't think that's true because even in the Bronx, I knew who the Beatles were. Well, I really didn't know who the Beatles were, but I knew the Beatles. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew, I know that they whatever.
I knew the Beatles as well, and I knew that they said something offensive about Jesus. That was all I needed to know.
Well, didn't he say like we're more famous than Jesus, something like that?
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Which is true in certain countries that don't know who Jesus is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I
that was like.
I hear it. All right, so lyrically, the lyrics were a little bit avant-garde too. He says, "Quickening of the elder."
Knowledge of the other.
No, Vin. Dwayne literally means that Korn plays in A minor. No. Ian, you're missing the sarcasm, bro. Korn is A minor. Ellipses band. You're killing me. I love you. All right. Quickening of the Elder. Okay, what did you think the song was about? It's called Baghdad.
I don't know.
Okay, so I went and looked at the date of when this song came out. The song came out in 2023. So I'm like, yo, the song came out in 2023. So, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, if the song came out in 2006, 2008 era, I'm like, okay, that's relative to the Iraq War, Baghdad.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not really seeing the correlation between Baghdad and 2023.
This song came out in 2023?
Yeah, the song is August 2023. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, right there. Released on 4 August 2023.
Oh, okay.
So
wow, it sounded like it was older than that.
Well, yes, the style or whatever. Yeah, I agree. but the lyrics are pretty challenging. I think this song is older than that. Okay, well, what I've got here, I mean, it might be. I don't know anything about this band, but I'm on the Bandcamp site right now, and it's
Look, me too.
saying
Wait.
Baghdad by High on Fire, released 4 August 2023 for $1. So that's what I'm seeing on Bandcamp. Unless you got something
Does
else.
that mean it got released to Bandcamp at that point?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Let's try Genius. Genius might have it. But while I'm looking for that, what
Yeah,
were your
so
thoughts?
I mean, believe it or not, the only lyric that really stuck out to me was because we had like quickening of the elder,
Look at this. Look at this.
knowledge of the other
This is
side.
why we do what we do, dear listener. I've got March 7th, 2000 here on the Genius side. March 7th, 2000. So good on you. Who was that we were trying to figure that out with? Neil?
Middle just pulled out. Okay.
So Middle's got June 11th, 2000. I've got March 7th, 2000. At minimum, we know that this song was written in 2000, which is still challenging because we did not invade Iraq till I think '04, and we weren't really beefing with them dudes either around the year 2000. So that's interesting. So Baghdad, I can't necessarily draw any specific correlations between the title and that, which I usually like to do. But maybe if we go down into the lyrics, we'll be able to figure it out.
Okay, so it sounded like it was like kind of old, like the quickening of the elder, knowing of the other side, like old as in like time period that we're talking about. The burning, it sort of sounded like, you know, I don't know which time period that would be, that will never die. But then he said, wait,
I agree.
well, no, he said
Way
deep
long
weed
as it
emotion.
storm, and we hadn't done Shield or the GY yet. So what were you saying?
I don't know what this song is about.
Quickening of the elder. Quickening means to make alive or to be alive. So quickening of the elder. So the elder would be the older. It could be an older person or old philosophy that you're resurrecting back to life.
Oh,
If that makes any sense. Knowledge of the other
quickening
side.
always means to come back to life. It doesn't mean like to become more aware or to be like.
Now, quickening usually, especially in Old English, was about life.
Okay.
So, like for example, um, a fetus was known as a quick. They had that law in New York about abortion. Like, you could abort the child until the quickening happened, and the quickening there was the mom feeling the kid move around, right? No, they were saying you can't do it. You can do it until because they didn't have sonograms and all that stuff. So the only thing they knew was that. But yeah, quickening, especially in the Old English, means to bring to life.
Yeah,
I don't really think it's a consciousness
I always
connotation.
feel my kids move way earlier than you're supposed to feel them move. So that I don't like knowing that.
But anyway, it's quickening of the elder, knowledge of the other side. Deep weed sets emotion, hardening of the warrior. The burning that will never die, melding of the rift child from wall to the universe, weed priest, stoned arrival, sharpening of the weapons, the skill inside the endless mind. That's deep. So it looks to me like he's saying, as in the quick and the dead, right? Right. So quick there is there for the living, right? The quick and the dead. He's coming back. As a matter of fact, that's an old Christian creed that Jesus is coming back to judge the quick and the dead, which that Western was basically about a day of judgment.
Okay.
Quickening of the elder, knowledge of the other side, deep weed sets emotion, hardening of the warrior. The burning that will never die. It looks to me like there's some younger type of dude, because we were using the term elder, and he is being guided or inspired maybe by his elders to go to war. Hardening of the warrior, the burning that will never die, which there are certain kinds of people that have a real desire for combat and things like that, and they're really not. They feel like something in their life is missing unless they get to, have one of those engagements. So That's how I'm looking at it right now. Maybe the term Baghdad completely biased me towards like a war type interpretation, but we'll keep going. Well, I mean, it says hardening of the warrior right there.
Yeah. What's a riff child?
No idea. Melding of the riff child. I don't know if that term is made up. You know, because we're guitarists, you play riffs. What's a riff child, Archero?
From Wall to the Universe.
Melding of the riff.
I thought that was okay. I don't know what this song is about, but when it said "Weed Priest Stoned Arrival," I mean, I don't know if like
Weed Priest. Stoned arrival, sharpening of the weapons.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it could be like a double because they have weed and stoned in the same sentence, in the same like line.
Yeah, riff child is not a word. It's probably like what Paul did in 1 Corinthians with arsenokoites, where he just made up a word. But you could understand the meaning of the word based on the composite. So riff child could be like a metaphorical description of their music. I agree. Deep weed sets in motion, hardening of the warrior, the burning that will never die, melding of the riff child. So to meld something is to put something together.
Yeah, I mean, like melt it together.
From wall to the universe, weed priest stoned arrival, sharpening of the weapons, the skill inside the endless mind. Okay. Maybe it's talking about the Ottoman takeover if you look back in history. It's very, very possible. Very, very possible. But I think this might be about their band itself, based on what Archero was saying a little bit. Sharpening of the weapons,
walks water,
the skill inside the endless mind, like your art is coming out of your endless mind. Go ahead, Celestial King walks water.
Hear words foretell destruction, hear words expose corruption, generation darkening. Echoes from the mountain, a warning to behold the times. Insight saved the blind man. Covenant with the Father, the burning that will never die, supersonic psalmist project.
That's so brilliant.
There's like
that's so brilliant.
Many Bible terms. What is so brilliant?
Supersonic psalmist project. So it's kind of like a alliteration, supersonic, and then psalmist, even though psalm starts with a P. Mm-hmm. I see what you did there. But yeah, that again goes to the idea that this is the band actually talking about itself, actually. Because he says, Celestial King walks water, that's Jesus, obviously. Hear words foretell destruction, hear words expose corruption, generation darkening. I think he's saying like one of the goals of their band, that their band almost has a messianic mission with their music, that they're here to foretell of the destruction and expose corruption. And so there's a sense in which the artist is actually taking the role of mythology. Here is Controller saying, I believe the elder is referring to Lovecraftian mythology. Yeah, we don't generally look at song explanations, but I think that's some important intel for all you Lovecraft people. Mm-hmm. The term elder probably means something in the Lovecraft universe. Echoes from the mountain, a warning to behold the times. Insight save the blind man. Covenant with the Father, the burning that will never die. Supersonic psalmist project. There it is again. Okay, so a psalm. Psalms are actually the biggest book in the Bible, actually. And generally speaking, if you take your Bible, Ian, you can do this little experiment. If you take your Bible and just open it to what you think the halfway point will be, you're going to end up in the Psalms. Go try it. So the Psalms are a list.
You're really bad at measuring.
The Psalms are a list of are a group of songs that the people of Israel would write to God. Some of it was public, a lot of it was private, but you could read the Psalms and understand what was going on in the situation in life of pretty much everybody there. And I do think that that's part and parcel of what you're called to do as an artist. And I think they're talking about understanding the sacred nature of their role, it looks like. Because he's talking about covenantal things, a warning of the times, that type of thing. We did a comedy stream, shout out to DJ Nick, a couple, like last week. And we were talking about, it was George Carlin, and he was addressing some real issues. But it was interesting because we were talking about Chappelle and Carlin and how the comedian is like one of the last kind of vestiges we have of being able to tell the emperor they have no clothes, or to be able to stand up to the government and things of that nature. Like we're at a place right now where you can almost smuggle the resistance through the artists. And that's kind of where we're at right now, especially considering all the censorship that all of us have been socialized to accept now. Um, I think that's almost like a foretelling type of thing. But I really, really, truly believe that the artist does have a true duty and calling to society to be true to themselves, because in that they're going to be true to the rest of us, because they're speaking all the shit that all of us are thinking. Echoes from the mountain, a warning to behold the times. That's such an important thing, man. Like
Insight save the blind.
People, it's fascinating because we're in the environment now where you've got access to the most information that human beings have ever had access to.
Mm-hmm.
But what that does is it creates a situation where nefarious actors can also inject into the zeitgeist shit that's just not true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just saw an article from Max Blumenthal that if it's real, and Max Blumenthal is a award-winning journalist, and the thing that he just said, man, if that shit is real, bro, like, it's incredible to me. It's incredible to me.
What did he say?
I don't want to talk about it right now because it's so heinous and it hasn't been confirmed, and I don't want to, feed into any conspiracy theories.
Okay.
High on Fire is one of my favorites. They're also very weird. If you think these lyrics are, it's an extremely weird song, but I think I kind of get it. Supersonic Psalmist Project reveals Astro Child. I think what he's saying is that their art is going to be part of the next evolution of humanity. So now you've got an astro child. So astro, it means like he's out there, he's out in space, and he's a child. It's innocent, but it's also a new beginning. And I think what they're saying is the covenant with the Father, the burden that will never die, Supersonic Psalmist Project reveals the astro child. Windows of the Riffian, and again, Riffian is music, right? That we're just going with that because Riff Child and Riffian is not a word, but we're going with the idea that this is what these people believe is right. A new thing I've noticed on YouTube is that certain ads are now audio only and the video is just a black screen. Yep.
What? Why is that significant?
Yeah, I know you wouldn't take him seriously, but I do.
Why is that significant that the screen would be black?
And that's okay. Promontory of Ruffian and Riff. I think you're right. So like a ruffian, you know what a ruffian is, right? So he's saying he's combining the term ruffian and riffian because like that's what it is to be an outsider. Windows of the Riffian, nameless masses cower from horse and carriage in the sky. I'm very, very tempted to talk about the most recent thing I read up on this UAP stuff. I think in general, they're talking about their music and what they believe the mission of their band is, which is to somehow, because they're telling the truth about what's coming and corruption, that is going to go somehow into some big pot and help us evolve to the next level of human, which gets revealed in the Astro Child. And Astro, again, is space, right? Like Astro, what's his face? Had a dog named Astro. And it's a child, so it's kind of Elon Musk's vision, right? Where you go off to Mars and then you can kind of start a new humanity where we learn from all our previous mistakes and shit. So that's what I think they're saying that that's what they're trying to do with their music. And that's the best that I can come up with. As far as the sludginess, these guys made sludgy heavy, which to me, those are opposite ideas. So for them to be able to combine both of them is pretty freaking crazy. Freemasons know what ruffians are.
Nick Haas, what's up?
Hey, Nick Haas in the house. Why do the lyrics have to be deep or even make sense? Well, I mean, not everybody's lyrics are deep. These ones are deep because he's using very, in my opinion, very avant-garde language to communicate what he feels the purpose and mission of this band is. And I don't know, maybe this guy does everything, you know, in a very avant-garde way. But I can also see the logic in saying, I don't want to look too super important, so I'm gonna like make this so like spurious that nobody's gonna look at me and say you're overestimating yourself. But I think everybody in the station of life that they're in is actually either contributing or to the advancement or the reversion of the human consciousness going forward or backwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe. Whatever you believe about evolution, progression, blah, 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 you know, that's cool. But I think all of us would collectively agree, okay, we need to get to a different place as human beings in total. We all, at some level, need to collectively move on from where we're at right now. And there's a lot of theories about how to do that, where we need to go. Shout out to the big homie Kai. Those kinds of things. So I really, really like the song because it makes you think. But it also, if we're somehow in the neighborhood, the lady in the house.
Hi.
If we're somehow in the neighborhood, it's also a challenge to figure out what your role in that is and what you are. Are you somebody that's progressing the consciousness of the collective? Yeah. Or are you so entrenched in your life and your own drama or whatever that you don't care about what's going on in the world? You're just going to hang out and do whatever and then not do anything to contribute to our forward motion. What I tell people all the time, especially relative to the Christian faith, that is that your entire life is on an angled hill, bro. And so if you're not going up, gravity is going to bring you backwards. There's no neutrality.
That's true.
And a lot of people like, yo, bro, why are you so extreme? It's because I live my life on that mountain, bro. So there's things that I'm not going to be neutral about. You feel me? Okay. I really like the song. I really do. I thought it was very, very, very different from what I've heard. And I'm actually, who is this? I'm really, really challenged by the lyrics, actually, like as a personal challenge to whatever your little area is. How are we progressing the minds of people in total? And if this guy is thinking that, I think we all should. Okay, it's a 9.4 for me.
8.7 for me.
Alrighty then. That was a really, really interesting song. We've got another song coming right. We're going to go right to y'all. You know, you guys are going to miss this commercial. It's going away very, very soon.
I was going to take a bite of my sandwich on the commercial, but I see we're skipping it, so.
Well, I've got the A99 thing. We're on a roll. This one is from the Extreme Underground. Moonlight Sorcery in Coldest...
you clicked on the wrong one, I think.
Is that the wrong one again?
It's got to be the 16th.
Is it 16? Okay, this one. Okay. My bad, guys. Secret Santa... Oh, LA Dispute! LA Dispute is... Who introduced me? Zonia, I think, introduced me to that band. Shout out to Zonia. Okay. Secret Santarchy, LA Dispute. Okay, this one was picked out by SGS for one of the OG big homies and my predecessor as A99 Lever, Silver Kyrie.
Okay.
It's a song in northern Michigan by the post-hardcore band LA Dispute. They're from Grand Rapids, Michigan, not far from where I grew up. By the way, shout out to Michigan for getting it done in that BCS shit. I think, unfortunately, it's going to result in the end of you guys and Jim Harbaugh, which I don't know if that's necessarily too unfortunate for y'all, but maybe he can come to the Patriots. And
holy shit, that's the biggest. That is a lot of lyrics.
Yeah, and I didn't even get them all either. All right, guys, here we go. LA Dispute, Michigan in this bitch. Let's go. This is for the big homie Silver Kyrie. Let's go. Get them lights up, people.
it all down for me, I could believe you. Dream if you want for me to carry on. If you could break it all down for me. I remember you and I in northern Michigan, color in between the leaves, black tourmaline, blue green, like some bioluminescent thing come up from the black of the sea, the pearl of the breeze, whispering. I remember how you stood at the water's edge while I was at the line of the trees, and you waited out patiently down, never darkening your step. The shadows grew around your feet, your ankles and knees. I remember trembling. Nights you tunneled inward, anxious in the panic. I was that watcher on the ridge, standing on the dune edge face west, and the night sloped down before me like a challenge for myth, but I never moved an inch. Backlit by the campfire blazing, heaving in a harsh spring wind, sparks thrown into the low branches to fade while you floated into water like a ghost ship, sinking. Days we breezed through everything, laughed through whole mornings at home and out warm nights running from sleep. Days like good dreams always, familiar, surreal. The sun in the trees bleeds marigold and wine. Life, all of its languages here. Love spoken tongues, loudly or hushed. Too much of you at once is just enough at all times. My life in the light of you, I remember everything. Dream if you want for me to carry on. You could be like a body in the sea. You could go, slowly sink on into nothingness. So you could float like a lantern in a breeze. You could freeze, not focus on a movie screen. Feel careening from the real, or you could stay for an ovation when the credits roll. Focus face right in the center of the frame. You never know. I heard the sound of my feet before I felt them pound sand. I heard only my own heartbeat in my head. There was no sound. I saw the water to your knees, then to your neck, above your head. I swore you drowned. I watched you swim out. I only watched you waited and panicked when I lost you. Sprinting now downward to find you back, as if you even needed me or asked. Worry always myself too much for your old sadness. Worry until I panic. Tumble to the open shoreline. Kept running toward water alone. The waves against my chest deafening, or only your soft laughter in me.
Wow. That was emotional. I love the spoken word type deals. Mm. This sounded like it was.
Silver, text me the title of that song, por favor. Thank you. All right, go ahead. What are you saying?
It seemed like it was a relationship song. Doesn't necessarily, I guess, have to be a romantic relationship. Just a relationship song where there's two people, they're separated by, I don't know if it's circumstance, or it almost kind of seemed like it was where because two people can be in the same room, but they can be worlds apart. And it seemed to me that's the situation. He was up on the hill by the fire, and she was down in the water. Or I assumed it was a she. And then it didn't seem like he really, like he saw that she wasn't in a good spot, but it seemed like he waited until it was too late. But then it was weird because when he got down into the water to try to like save her or save him, it doesn't go super well. And then they're talking about hearing laughter. So Like, was the person in the water really in danger, or was the person on the hill the one that was in danger? It's just kind of... What did you get from it?
I didn't get that he was angry.
I didn't get that either.
But he might have been. Anytime somebody says that, I always reread it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to reread this with the assumption that dude is mad. Because
I didn't get that he was mad. I got that he was hurting.
I've been in relationships like this where shorty looks like she's about to do some self-destructive shit, and I was angry for a lot of it, but I didn't. People would not have interpreted it as anger because you're in sort of a rescuing role or whatever. But you do get to this point where you're like, here we go again. Oh, you're going underwater again. Oh, I gotta save you again. I gotta stop my entire life to fix you. You know, so I could definitely see like a tinge of anger and resentment underneath all of that, because, you know, at some point, especially in these, you know, unhealthy relationships, everybody's got a terminus, man.
It's true.
Everybody's got a moment where they're like, oh, for real, this is where we at?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
Dream, if you want me to carry on, if you could break it all down for me, I could believe you. Yeah, I think this is a relationship. I think they were together, and I think he's trying to get
That's the way I took it.
He's trying to figure out some explanation as to what happened, and then he's like, I could believe you. If you could break it all down for me, I could believe you. Dream, if you want for me to carry on. Yeah, see,
because it seems like he doesn't have the same. It seems like they both have two different narratives about what's going on.
I mean, that's always the case.
They're not on the same page. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that is.
Like, it's a hard feeling for people to understand and haven't lived it. It sounds selfish and unempathetic to outsiders. Correct. Which is why what Miss Mudd said was really fascinating to me, because I remember that, because Shorty was always in crisis. So, you know, it was like, here's crisis number 5,789. And you're like, oh, hold on, let me guess, you got a crisis. You in crisis again. Yeah, there's absolutely a lot of resentment that goes with that when you're having the same conversation over and over again, and the person loves the drama. You know what I'm saying? Shorty, I'm not going to say she loved the drama, but I think she was bored with being healthy. That's what I think.
Yes.
This is a caretaker.
You know, there are some people that it looks like they don't want to be well. They want to just stay angry or stay dysfunctional or stay whatever. Did he keep saying that she was in the water the entire time, right?
Yeah.
How you stood at the water's edge while I was in the line of the trees, and you waited out patiently down, ever darkening your step. Yeah, the shadows grew around your feet, your ankles and knees. I remember trembling. Nights you tunneled inward, anxious unto panic. I was listening to this this talk, and it was saying that there's internally that we don't have space for
who's we? Americans, humans,
people,
men, women,
people in general, I think. That there's not space for anxiety and gratefulness. They can't live together internally. And so if you're anxious, then it just, there's no space for it. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. And it's been my experience. And also I saw somebody else that was in like this sort of like overwhelmed, sort of panicky, angry, sort of reactionary state. And I was like, hold on. I was like, listen, I haven't heard you say one thing grateful for a very long time. And I was like, all complaints. And the person was like, oh yeah? And I was like, yeah. And then they said, well, okay. And then they immediately started like expressing things that they were grateful of. Not like right there started a list, but like from that moment forward, it was a lot of like, oh, this is cool, this is great, whatever. And they said like it changed their paradigm. I mean, And they said like that was like a real game changer for them. I was like, wow. I mean, I knew that that had been my experience because when I've been the most miserable, I've also been the most ungrateful. And so yeah, I don't. So when it said that line about the anxious unto panic, I was at the Waters at the Ridge, standing on the dune.
Yeah, nights you turn inward, anxious unto panic. It's like, well, if it's inward, then keep it inward then. Like, see, this is my boy Dan. Of course, there is resentment. We are the rock, the emotional waves that the waves. We are the rock. Their emotional waves crash against. We are the state of calm they hate us for. It's true. It's true. Like Shorty, she didn't. I mean, this is unfair, and if you're watching it, obviously this is the past. I'm not, you know what I'm saying, but at the time, like it's a weird thing. Like you're the person that they hang on to for everything, but then at the same time, they resent you for being that kind of person. So it's a very weird. Yeah,
she's gotten a lot better though.
It's a
growing a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like, I don't have much resentment towards her. I don't know, but it's hard for me to stay mad at her for long periods of time when she has those episodes because I understand how she grew up. You know what I'm saying? Like the life that we lived, like the shit that we saw was just. Now that I think about it, I'm like, this is fucking incredible. So, of course, it's easy now to be like, oh man, I understand all that. You had this horrible, because I'm not in this situation no more. You know what I'm saying? So, it's easier to be, like that with her. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I don't got to deal with the shit no more. So, and the other thing too is like. I'm trying to figure out my how I handle certain kind of personality types because there's certain there was a dude here like half hour 45 minutes ago and he always comes in and when he's got a bad day he just whatever. I kind of usually overlook it. I'm like, man, it's 2024, bro. Like, I'm cool, with homie, but like, what if there's other people around here? Like, fuck out of here, dude. Like, so. There's got to be some growth. I think Controller said something that was crazy, but I think it's true. The toxic worship of a state of misery. Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Like Shorty was, in that state of mind a lot of the time. But but
that's one of the things like that she says now. I mean, she doesn't. Her mindset is different, and she doesn't want to walk those same paths that she walked before, and that's changed her. That's been really good for her. I think that when people recognize, like, yeah, I don't want to be that person. Like, I don't want to be miserable every single day of my life. And I was also listening to this thing on contentment because there's different types of contentment that you need to be a happy or joyous person, and one of them is. You have to be able to be content in whatever situation you're in, whether you have a lot, because people with a lot of stuff and still end up killing themselves because contentment isn't in stuff. And people that don't have anything assume that if they had stuff or they had money, that would fix their problems and then they would no longer be miserable like they are. But I think that's kind of like one of the geniuses of some of the things that Paul said in the Bible is that he was talking about being able to be content, whether you have a lot or whether you have a little bit. And again, I think that comes down to being grateful. And I think that being grateful is something that starts out as a practice, something that you have to sort of focus on. But then after time, like, if you ever see like happy people that look really peaceful in their face and in their eyes, like they're just happy with whatever, like it doesn't matter. They're like, we had one of our kids that they were impossible to discipline because it didn't matter if you put them in a timeout in the chair, you grounded them to their room. It didn't matter what you did. They always found a reason to be happy in whatever situation they were in. So
I think that can be dangerous.
What do you mean?
In this context,
No, I don't think that they should stay in an unhealthy relationship and be grateful about it.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Like,
do
it's
think
got to get qualified. If you're talking about
we're
content,
talking about people that love misery and love to stay in that state, and that's the group of people we're talking
If
about.
we're talking-
People not being like that and being grateful instead, and changing as a person.
yeah, I think if you're talking about contentment in this context, like, I don't want my daughters to be content with a loser.
I'm talking about the person in
insane.
the water.
Yeah, I don't know about her, shorty. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how women's minds work, but I know how my mind works. And like, I don't think. See, in every relationship, no matter what, I just had this conversation with my kids. There's got to be boundaries in every relationship. So I'm not going to teach my girls or the boys to be content in relationships if that person is constantly violating their boundaries. Right? So like, we got somebody in our little family system that, God bless her, she just has no concept of boundaries. So I get it. Like, on the one hand, you want to be content and you want to, everybody wants to get to a place where they're zen, like where they're having peace in all circumstances. However, there's real life, man. And if you're with a person and they're consistently violating your boundaries, just being out there and be like, yeah, I'm going to find a way to be content. I think that that's dangerous. I think that gets people killed.
I agree.
I think that's been used in churches to kill a lot of women,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest with you. And dudes, by the way, just in a different way. Like, we die slow, Dan. These girls out here killing us, bro. And then it's like, yo, how did that happen? But, like, days we breezed through everything, laughed whole mornings at home and out warm nights running from sleep. That's a good freaking line, man. Days like good dreams, always familiar, surreal. The sun in the street and the trees bleed marigold and wine. Life, all of its language here. Love spoken tongues. Just
Beautiful.
This is an amazing. This song is so incredible to me. Shout out to Jason Morgan. Let me get some of that KFC, bro. Where that picture at? One of these days we're gonna have tech where Jason is gonna be able to text me a chicken sandwich.
Oh, like on.
Let's go. Yeah, you just do some
Willy
quantum.
Wonka.
You just do some quantum entanglement.
Dissipated.
You just do some quantum entanglement. Make it happen. Too much of you at once is just enough at all times. Woo! I'm not gonna get in all the lyrics of this song. There's a lot of shit that's gonna be unspoken, but I think it's a beautiful song. I think it's a song that everybody can relate to. I personally cannot. It happens a lot in the metal community where people are, being miserable is kind of like the thing, right? Like, if you're in the hood, gang banging, throwing up signs, blah, 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 that makes you like an authentic whatever. Like, to be an authentic metalhead, it's like you have to be upset all the time and angry and sad and depressed. You got this diagnosis, that diagnosis, blah, 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 blah. Like, cool, bro, but like, can we move on? Can we advance? And there's some people that just like love that shit and like they don't want to. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not necessarily I don't necessarily understand the difference between contentment in a relationship and settling. And that's a big cultural conversation right now that I kind of stay away from because I really don't know the balance of those things, man. Like, I don't understand, how that works because I felt like I did it the right way with Shorty, but it had all these really negative ramifications that, to this day I'm like, what was I doing? Because I'm like, I was trying to hold on to some sort of ideal. I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to think through. And there are no simple solutions. I like the poetry, but the song, I did not like this one. Yeah, this song is actually one of my favorite songs of all time on the channel.
I really liked this one too.
That state of mind is for emos, not metalhead. Yeah, I know, Dan. You don't want to be vulnerable at all. It's all the emo kids with the weird hair. I'm a very emotional dude, man. I'm a very emotional dude. I got a bunch of whatever, and I don't like them. I don't celebrate it, but I do think I like the challenge that Controller talked about. Was like the toxicity angle. And you got it's a hard thing to figure out, especially in relationships, right? Because like, again, a person might say, "Oh, here you go complaining again, you're being toxic," and the other person's going, "Yeah, this is a boundary though." You're violating a boundary. Like, what am I supposed to do? So, and the other thing, like, I don't know how to say this, but the reality is the vast majority of human relationships are temporary. And the sooner people understand that, I'm not going to say the better. For me, especially the way I grew up, like, I always want to be as close as I possibly can. I want my perception and the actual real world to be as close as possible. And the fact of the matter is, the vast majority of relationships across the board, they're temporary. They are. I got to see that because I moved around so much. But I mean, go back 10 years, all the people that you were in your life 10 years ago, are they all there? Probably not. You probably have one or two people that are like your, day ones. Like Dan, big homie Dan was here since the very, very, very beginning. And so he and I have a different kind of connection because everything I just said on the song he's been through. But yeah, man, it's a really, really interesting, it's a deep song. And this dude can write his ass off. This is
extremely deep.
This is an 11 for me.
I have always loved spoken word. To me, that's like, well, I mean, I love music and I love singing also, but like spoken word hits a different part of my soul because there is no like pretty sound necessarily that goes with it. It's you feel the emotion, I guess, of the words. And as they're saying it, I don't know, like it, maybe because the part of your brain that gets engaged when you're listening to melodies and stuff is not happening. So it's like you're in there and you're like in that shit when the words are coming out and you feel it. And the way that he described it was so poetic, and both sides were poetic. Like the person that's in the water and then the person that's up on the thing and like talking about their days and nights together. Like, I don't know. It was crazy. I loved this one. 11. You gave it an 11.
Well, the song is personal import to me. So I've never seen a person put to words my unspeakable emotions before, not to that degree. So it's like a personal favorite for me as to where I'm at right now. It's an 11 for sure, sure. This song's gonna be yeah. You know what? I almost silent counted it too, Dan. I almost silent counted it too, but I want these boys to get their credit. It's 11 for me. I would have silent counted it. What did you give it? I'm
gonna give it a 10.
All right, dear listener, do what you will with that one. Just be careful. What the scriptures say, guard your heart. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, oh lordy. All right, commercial break, guys. We'll be right back. Or not. Let's not, because I don't know what the hell is going on with this entire thing. None of that shit looks clear to me. All right, let's go to song number 3. Song numero 3. Numero 3. That was a very, very good one. All right, here we go.
That's a really good one.
Here we go.
Who did that one for her?
I don't know. This one, though,
Silver,
is
who
for the
picked
big
that song
homie
for you?
Argento. The secret Santarchy pick is for Archero, picked out by Misery Biz. It's a classic big band jazz number titled Minnie and the Moocher by Cab Calloway, originally recorded in 1931. I can't find out for certain when this particular performance was recorded, though this YouTube video mentions 1958 right at the intro. Legend has it that the most memorable part of the song, that being the call and response scattered lyrics, came to be when Cab forgot the lyrics to the song during a live show. All right, so when you hear the call and response scat stuff, that was all pretty much impromptu because Homeboy got kind of froze up on stage and just threw shit out there, but he was such a gangster. Everybody's like, yeah, whatever, nigga, let's go. Later, Dwayne.
Good night.
Glad I got to see you, buddy.
Tell your wife we said what's up.
To see you brings me joy. Cab Calloway, Minnie the Moocher, Archero, Vince Story. Let's do this shit.
In 1958.
Wow. That's basically how I was dancing tonight.
a story about Minnie the Moocher. She was a low-down hoochie coocher. She was the roughest, toughest frail. Minnie had a heart as big as a whale. Heidi, 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 ho! Heidi, 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 ho! Heidi, 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 Heidi.
This is for me.
This is the part that he made up.
Heidi, 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 ho! Heidi, 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 ho!
That's where Elvis got the moves.
He gave her his townhouse and his racing horses. Each meal she ate was a dozen courses.
Oh my gosh.
Had $1 million worth of nickels and dimes. She sat around and counted them all 1,000,000 times. Howdy, 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 howdy. Howdy, 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 howdy. Howdy, 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 ho. Howdy, 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 ho. Scoodly-boo, 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 poor man, poor man,
Poor man. He got some Negro in him. He has
Listen
to.
how deep that is.
You win.
Well, what we can learn from our brother is that nothing ever changes, huh? Here we go.
Yep, here we go again.
Shorty out here. Minnie the Moocher. She was a red hot hoochie coocher. They were saying that shit in the when did this song came out? That's a B1 note. There's Ian Kirby. It's a B1 note. Hold on. Cab Calloway, Minnie the Moocher. I gotta find out the
There's
date.
a country song that says something about hoochie coochie. I just thought that was way down
Holy
south.
shit, Minnie the Moocher.
I don't know what I thought that was. I don't know if I thought it was a dance or
Yeah,
if
Caleb
it was like,
Calloway, jazz pop.
woman?
Holy shizzle.
That's pretty
Shizzle,
interesting
my
that he was
nigga,
able to
Shizzle,
do that
Yay.
improv there. Also, he did get really
1932.
low,
1932, that shit came out. Holy shit.
and
Them
then
girls,
the bass one.
he's calling them, he's calling them hoes and all that shit since 1932. She was a red hot hoochie coocher. God.
Hoochie coocher means user? I thought.
I mean, I don't think you're going to find hoochie coocher in a dictionary, but I think you can
It was in a country song.
you can kind of put it together as where he was going. There's a bunch of verses in this song, but I couldn't find them all. Yeah. She was the roughest, toughest, frail.
Chattahoochee! Dethroner, you're right. Thank you. Yes.
Chattahoochee by Alan Jackson. Subhanallah.
That's where it said.
So
What's the line where it says hoochie coochie or something like that in there? Or is it?
you're hanging out with Vin and Sawyer, Mr. President.
How did I get
We
here?
honor you, as the scripture says, you shall not speak evil of a rule of your people.
Oh,
Shout
I
out
just
to
realized
President
that's-
Biden. We continue.
It's Biden. So we've had Biden and we've had
We've
Trump
had
tonight.
Trump,
We are
we've had Biden.
popular.
Yep. Bunch of gangsters in here.
Okay, supposedly there really was a Minnie that he knew, and this song was based on
So
her.
this was the first. This was the first like diss song. And I saw brother's nose, like he got some
Yes,
other.
dethroner. That's what I thought
He
it
got
said. It
some
gets
other
hotter than a
random.
hoochie coochie. That's why I'm like, wait. But he just said she was a hot hoochie coocher. So is that just a way he's saying she's hot, but she's also trying to use?
She
it for
was a
funny?
red hot hoochie coocher.
Yeah, but you saw hoochie. You said hoochie coocher meant something like a hoe.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
think
not sure if
that's what
that means. I thought that just meant that she was. It gets hotter than a hoochie coochie. What is a hoochie coochie? It gets hotter than a slut. It said in the other song. I'm not sure if that's what
It doesn't matter what a hoochie coochie is in real life. I'm talking about the context of this song, bro.
Yeah, but I think
She
in the
was the
context of the
roughest,
song,
toughest, frail, but Minnie had a heart as big as a whale. That was smart. That's a good line.
Whoa.
Because she was putting herself out as frail, but in reality, inside, she had a heart as big as a whale.
But that means if her heart's as big as a whale, she's got a big heart.
Yeah, when we're talking about having heart, we're not talking about like she's got a gregarious spirit. Like she's got heart. Like she's not as frail as she's pretending. You know how y'all go? Y'all, do the thing, say whatever, then you throw out the white woman in distress. Oh, I'm so frail. When in reality, you're not really like that. Some of y'all are ruthless as fuck. You act frail, but in reality, fellas, don't get it twisted. They'll cut your throat, bro. You gotta be careful. That this is a common thing where the woman puts out like this faux frailty, but in reality they're not soft like that. I saw like that was like a real learning experience for me in New York, man, because I was coming from Florida. I had never really experienced the ghetto, and I had all these assumptions about shorties. I was like dead wrong. Like the first time I actually like realized that. I was I was talking to this girl, and we weren't even together like that. But she looked all sad. I was like, "Yo, shorty, what you want? What happened to you?" The hoochie coochie. Yeah, I didn't even need to see it, but I knew is a catch-all term to describe several sexually provocative belly dances in the 30s or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
but like,
she was
she was all sad. I'm like, "Yo, what happened, shorty? What you want?" She's like, "Oh, this guy called me a bitch, blah, 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 blah." So we're like, word. So we caught dude. It's like, yo, whoa, whatever. He's like, yeah. Put the screws to him, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yo, what the fuck? He's like, yo, what happened? What y'all on? What y'all doing? Why y'all hit me? You called her a bitch, blah, blah, blah. He's like, nah, man, what happened? Well, long story short, Shorty had borrowed his Metro card. The Metro card is a little thing that the state gives you so you can go to and from school. And it was always a scam, like, yo, let me borrow that Metro card real quick, because I used mine for my friend or whatever. So you give it to them, and then they take off, and now you don't got a Metro card, right? So she ran that game on dude. So he was like, yo. So he kind of he caught her, whatever. He didn't jam her up or whatever. He just said, yo, let me hold that. So he took back his Metro card. So then she was out there. So I went back after we talked to this guy. And I'm like, yo, what's going on with homie? And she's like, yo, did you get the Metro card? And I was like, yo, she played us, bro. She played us hard. She came out like all frail and shit. But she already had it in her plans, bro. She already and like, I'm one of those people, I pride myself in not getting fooled. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yo, I've been around the world, blah, blah, blah. Man, that was just one of the times that we got jerked around by these girls, man. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that line was crazy. She was the roughest, toughest, frail, but Minnie had a heart as big as a whale.
Okay. All right, that makes sense now.
They're not really that frail, bro. They're not frail. They will put out the, what? There's an agenda, but they're not really soft like that, bro. That's why I think I'm like, yo, you cannot underestimate women, bro. Like, listen, we're in a male-dominated society, agree. But these girls have eked out their slice of the pie, and they're not doing it, by reading their Bible and going to church. Like, they're sitting back and observing and seeing, okay, I'm in a not as powerful position. What do I need to do in order to even that out? So if you're a dude, you can't be. This is one of like the whole manosphere thing. That's where I'm like, I'm out with them dudes, because if you look at those behaviors in isolation, you could say, yup, women are terrible, blah, 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 blah. But there's no understanding in the context that they have to kind of be manipulative based on the fact that they're already in a position on a society level where they don't have the same kind of powers as everybody else. You see what I'm saying? So in this girl's particular situation, yeah, she played us and blah, 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 blah. But that doesn't mean that every woman on the planet is like that. Go ahead. Folks saying you're going to throw down, so go ahead and say goodbye.
Not even engaging you on it.
Okay. So he gave her his townhouse and his racing horses. Each meal she ate was a dozen courses. She had $1 million worth of nickels and dimes. Man, I don't really think like that, at least not on purpose.
She had $1 million worth of nickels and dimes.
Yeah, because when you ask her, like, yo, what you want? She's like, man, I only got these nickels and dimes. But she's got $1 million worth. So she's showing you that she's poor. She's like, I only got nickels and dimes. She's pretending she's poor. But in reality, that bitch is filthy rich. What was this, in the 30s? So if that broad had $1 million in the 30s, that means she was like a 10 millionaire. But she's got him in dimes and nickels. Like, this dude, like, he knows what he's talking about. Be careful. Each meal she ate was a dozen courses. She sat around and counted them all 1 million times. Yeah.
She was a foodie, I guess.
Look, fellas, you can't be mad, bro. You can't be mad at it. You gotta learn from it. Like, we got Shorty her Metro card. I was like, all right, Shorty, like, I respect it. Here's your Metro card. Don't ever talk to me again. We had beef with them dudes the entire year. 2 of my friends got jumped, all types of shit. Like, we were, we were at the war with them dudes for the rest of the year until we finally had a stalemate. Thank you very much, Sequoia. We appreciate you. But, hey, it is what it is. This, I mean, I'm never going to listen to this song again, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 10 for the homie for his brilliant insight into human nature. And if fellows are wise, they'll get the warning. Hey, is this black guy gonna vote for me? I'll make a deal with you, Joe. If you can somehow get those Israelis to stop massacring those little Palestinian kids, I will vote for you. Like, I literally will. If you come out tomorrow and tell them Israelis stop killing them Palestinian kids, I'll vote for you tomorrow. I'm serious. You can hold my vote hostage to them Palestinian babies, bro.
I liked that he had to do that improv in the middle. I think that the song itself just kind of had a funny, fun vibe to it. Like, not funny because it wasn't like haha in the lyrics, but like just the way that he did it and the music that he, like him doing the thing with the bassist and stuff. I thought that was fun. I liked that. And like the camera angles and stuff, just, I felt like they kept it kind of light and fun. Also, I do think that these types of situations happen where, like a woman will play the victim. Let me just leave up these lyrics for a minute here. Where a woman will like play the victim or whatever. I also think that there are times where women get put in situations, especially like if you're not the main breadwinner, the one that mainly brings home the money, and there's some sort of altercation between the two people, and the relationship is ending, where the guy will just take everything that he has, take all the stuff, even though she's been a stay-at-home mom or whatever, and taking care of the kids and doing. Nobody really if you cook and you clean and you take care of your family like that, and you don't get any bonus points for that. Nobody high fives or claps your hands, nothing.
Google,
you do
Google
what you do.
How much childcare is,
and then
for daycare.
If there's,
just Google it.
If there's some situation, if you don't please that person anymore, and they're the ones that bring the money, most guys, and maybe women, I don't know, I haven't met those situations, will immediately withdraw their financial support or their money or whatever to make it the life the most difficult for you if you won't go along with their bullshit. So,
well, I don't think you say that about most men. Most men are not like that.
I'm just talking about the situations that I know. I don't know what,
How many dudes do you know that did that? You know one dude that did that.
Well, no, I know more than one. But anyway, it's
a
pattern.
Do I know that person?
Can you please?
No, I'm just saying. Do I know that person?
I don't know. It's a pattern that happens that can happen to women, and when you're in those situations, it kind of colors how things are from then on forward. And obviously, I mean, like,
I would support that.
I don't think that women are very good at sticking with women. Like, I think that men are really good at being like, bro, and then like you guys kind of like coming together. But I feel women are really, really quick to flip and turn or whatever on each other. But in those types of situations, I think that women,
How's that relate
if
to this
they
song, though?
can stand beside other women in the situation, I think they're really quick to do that. Like if they can see that a guy is financially bullying you, they'll jump on board to try to stop that situation. I've seen that a bunch of times, which I think is cool. There is like an angle.
Where are you getting the woman and woman angle in this one, though?
No, I just brought up the women to women angle because when you're in that financial situation, most times I don't see like women will stand like right there and be like quick to help you if they realize that's what's happening. That was like one of the opportunities or times where I saw more support, not from people that I would like no, but anyway. So I do think that there are situations like that that can kind of.
Wait, you've seen a situation where a divorce is happening, the guy withholds the funds, and the girls come around and help the other girl? You've seen that happen?
Yes, but I'm not talking about girls that like they were friends with, not those types.
I'm saying
girls.
you've seen that happen in real life.
Yeah.
Because I know situations where a dude didn't do it and the dude came and helped, but I've never seen a situation. Oh, great, good. Tell me who these people are, bro. You
know the stories. I literally told you these.
First time in my life I've ever heard.
It's not the first time. I told you the exact situation. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So the point is, like, if you're in a situation like that, or you've seen a situation like that, I think that can kind of color how people react to things. I don't know what was happening in this story or this situation, but
I thought at the end of the song he was saying "poor man." He's saying "poor min," as in poor Minnie. She's poor. She's counting out millions of dollars and dimes and nickels millions of times.
I'm sure that's happened a bunch of times too, where stuff. I actually
hell yeah, that's happened to me.
I've heard it being very unfair for the man. I did not experience it that way. I felt that the courts were pretty like fair, and like right down the middle. Well,
you're gonna say that because I've seen many a man crushed financially by
everything
divorce.
went by 50%. So.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah. Dudes generally famously come out on bad sides of divorce, financially speaking, usually. And I generally have very little pity because, as I said, the society is structured to favor us. So these kinds of I don't judge these kinds of behaviors. Like if you're in the ghetto, yeah, she played us, and yeah, it was dangerous for her to do that because we had people that were like, "Yo, we need to get, And I was like, nah, chill. Like, we're done. We got played. It is what it is. It was very dangerous what she did. At the same time, though, she is a single girl in New York City. So they're going to do what they feel like to survive. The problem that happens is when you get Shorty out of that situation, is she going to be able to adjust and say, you don't have to play people anymore. You're not in that environment. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. So, like, to me, it's look, man, if a person is in a situation where they're going to have to survive, human beings are going to have to survive. If you're in a situation where society is structured systemically against your agenda, you're going to do things outside of the system to make sure that you're in good shape. And so I don't have an issue with that in the main, considering the circumstance. Obviously, when you get into relationships, things are supposed to be different. Mm-hmm. But I mean, and that's part of the call. That's why I said, like, I have an issue with the manosphere, because the manosphere guys will analyze a song like this and go, aha, this is why, and not deal with, well, wait a second here. Are women just doing this because they're just horrible, terrible? They're looking for suckers? Or could we look a little deeper and say, okay, maybe there's a reason why? It's kind of like, oh, these black dudes always dealing drugs, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, those are decisions people make. Maybe we can ask why. So that's like, trust me, believe me, I'm very familiar with the black people are. Go ahead and Google Rosewood. A whole bunch of folks that got massacred off the word of some victimized white woman. The whole thing was wrong. Emmett Till, it over and over and over again. So this shit can get really dark and dangerous at a racial level. I love the fact that this one was more like, well, Jason, she didn't say the second coming already happened.
Well, yeah, I basically did.
Well, the term second coming is not even in the Bible. There's no term second coming. But the concept
of him coming a second time, 80, 70.
Yeah, that was, usually preterists say that was a judgment, a coming, not the coming. The song was a 9. I gotta give it a 10 because it's a classic, you know what I'm saying? I liked the
You give
light.
it a 10?
I give it a 10. I like the lighthearted spirit in which he engaged the topic. I usually stay out of the manosphere stuff because I think it's toxic and it's not going anywhere. Like, I think the problems that they highlight are real and true, but they're not. I can't accept their solutions, which is just, it's all the woman's fault, and so you guys just need to change because the manosphere, these guys have figured out, like, wait a second, all of the shit that these women have been complaining about since the feminist revolution is true. Society is teetered toward us, and they are in a bad position. So now these guys have figured out, we don't need to negotiate with y'all. You guys need to conform specifically to us. We don't need to negotiate with you. We have the power. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you're a dude, even if the shit they say is right, that principle itself is completely satanic and will destroy you and will destroy societies. Mm-hmm. Because all that's going to do, there might be a generation of compliant women who are tired of, like, dealing with the ramifications of, post-feminist America. But believe you me, the next generation, they're not gonna deal with that, bro. They're not gonna deal with that. So how about we try to find a third way where women are not inherently evil and men are not inherently evil just because they're men and women? How about we both recognize the inherent bent towards selfishness that's in all human beings, and then start from that standing point, and maybe we can go forward without having to crush somebody underfoot. Because believe you me, a lot of girls out there that are power hungry, crazy, insane, and want to control and have power over dudes too. So I'm not saying that this is one-sided. The difference is that we've got a society that's geared toward the advancement of one group of people on the gender scale, and that's just a fact. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Ladies beware, brothers beware. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're in the courtship stage or the dating stage and shorty keeps lying about shit, man, you got to take a note of that, bro. You got to be like, why did she lie about that shit? Don't you have to lie about that shit? Okay.
Jason, don't worry about trying to be your dad. Just worry about being you with Jesus. You got your own journey with him. You got your own life with him. And just, do that. Don't, try to pattern your life after your father's and be like him and be who he is in the church. Your father has his own struggles, seen or not seen. He still has shit he's got to deal with, just like all of us. So don't, that can end up pulling you backwards if you're trying to, just be you and before your God.
Well, they might not let it happen, Dan, but they can't control how we are. And I'm especially talking about people like me and you, because we've been through this shit. See what I'm saying? But you got to constantly fight to make sure that you say, that was that woman. That's not all women. See what I'm saying? So you got to, otherwise you got nothing but toxicity, bro. You know what I'm saying? You have no shot of happiness or even attempting to be happy.
Hesitate.
Good. Okay, we got another song coming up for you crazy, beautiful people. It's from... Is this still part of the...
Yeah.
What did you rate it?
9.6.
9.6. Okay. All right, guys, here we go. Next song. This is another one for Negative Vibes?
Well, you got to click on it because I think some of the details... Oh, no. Okay, just click on it.
Yeah. Here we go. We got an intro for you guys. Be patient, please. Here comes the intro.
From Archero on this one.
From Archero. That's exactly right, homie Dan. I was going to say it, but I didn't want to bring race into it, but you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Okay, here we go. Secret Santarchy number 3 or number 4, I'm not sure. The Grand Astoria and Jantiloka. Jantiloka is what I'll say. Yo, Biden, that would be the last thing that you did for the rest of your life, though. I wouldn't touch you, but shorty, it'll be over for you. So you can't do it. I have been in alliances with
I'm not 8 years old.
Faley for a few years now. So when I drew his name for Secret Santa, I knew 3 things right away. 1, the man has range. He likes a lot of different kinds of music. 2, He can almost always be counted on to submit obscure bands I've never heard of. 3, when he introduces me to a new band, I'm nearly certain to like it. As I began looking for the right song to pick for the homie, I realized even more what a chameleon he really is. After participating in dozens of polls, there were very few bands that he has submitted more than once, and I don't think I found any example of a band he had submitted more than twice. However, there was one song that immediately popped into my mind that he had tried a couple of times. Naturally, it is one that I have never heard of until he included them in an epic underground poll. This is a Russian rock band, the Russians, called the Grand Astoria, and their song, Nijitaliloka. Merry Christmas to the homie for Folly. Hopefully Folly is a AKA and not his real name. But if it is his real name, you know who to blame, because it wasn't me. All right, guys, here we go. Song number 4, the Grand Astoria. I do have the lyrics, never fear. Let's do it. Like the build up. right, guys. That was an interesting take from a very interesting band. Definitely saw some influences in Tool there, but they didn't like completely hijack Tool.
No,
Like there's
it was
bands.
atmospheric and it kind of like took you somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, it zoomed away.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, there's bands that like, you know, I don't have a problem being influenced by Tool, but just completely hijack.
We don't want a whole takeover.
Hijack
like,
everything, the vocal style, all that.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think the point of the song was?
I'm sorry. I was completely selfish with this song, and I just took a journey, and it was wonderful. But I don't know what the band was talking about because I wasn't paying attention.
Their Bandcamp page says psychedelic jam rock having sex with heavy metal.
I like it. Okay.
Okay, I'm with that.
Yep. That works.
These guys are beautiful idealists, huh? Back in time when Earth was wild and free, we lived as one giant family. Now we're split and so preoccupied, one man cries, the other one hides his eyes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a very beautiful image of humanity, you know. And you read that, you're like, yeah, we got to get back to that. Where, you know, we're not so apathetic to everybody's suffering. Looks like this is what he was trying to say.
Tell me there's no truth or lies. Ancient wisdom sets your spirit free. Knowledge heals the troubled mind so easily.
It's fascinating because usually what happens is people say, we were all out there getting along and then somebody invented religion and then we started.
Mm-hmm.
But this song doesn't actually do that. Actually, it kind of gives a nod to religion, but it appears that the author of the lyrics doesn't want religion to be objectified, as in saying hard lines of truth and error. Because it says, he knows he sees his destiny quite clear. Is there above where the clouds touch the sky? He's calm, he smiles, all worries up behind. Tell me there's no truth or lies. Then it says, ancient wisdom sets your spirit free. Knowledge heals a troubled mind so easily. Both of those last two premises are true, but if the first premise is true, then it's completely nonsensical. If you say there's no truth in lies, then how can you have wisdom to set your spirit free?
Or knowledge that would, knowledge that would heal a troubled mind, because knowledge would have to be true knowledge, right? If it's going to heal you. That's what I'm saying.
Is do you have justified true belief, or do you have your own? You know, so like but I think the point of what they're trying to do is to say we do need spirituality, but the minute a person says this is right spirituality, this is wrong spirituality, I think he's afraid that it's going to lead to, because I think people are still, I don't know how to say this without people getting upset. A lot of secularists have this vision of human beings that we were nice, peaceful, and then a religion came in, and that's why. Like I talked to all the wars, and I try to explain to people, all the bloodshed that the world was drowned in. World War I, World War II. Those were not Christians versus Muslims. These are secularists who were fighting over land.
Right.
Had nothing to do with religion.
Yeah.
Just secularists who were fighting over land. And then after World War II, we had the Communist Revolution. We had, we had Box rebellions and things like that where we're going to be hostile to religion. You guys can read that Yale article I post all the time. You know, communist Russia, why forced secularization failed. I am not saying that secularism was at the root of all the wars in the last century that killed millions and millions of people. All we have to do is take last century, the body count of last century, that is 500 times more than all the previous combined wars together.
I think the other thing too is that we have to be careful when we say religion did X, Y, and Z thing, because what people claim as religion and what the religion actually states, those are not the same thing. So if somebody says in the name of God they did X, Y, and Z thing, but God's word specifically says don't do this, then we can't say that what initiated that is religious in its nature. Right. You were selfish, or you wanted something, or you were X, Y, and Z thing, and then you went after it, and you tacked on this religion thing as a, whatever. But that's not what I mean. Specifically in Christianity, it says if you live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. And Jesus was a pacifist in his human existence. When he came to the cross,
not anymore.
That was his act of pacifism was those 33 years. But
That's what secures my shaky pacifism. It's the fact that all them people fucking up them little Palestinian babies, they're gonna run into a Jesus that's not a pacifist. I promise you that. Promise you that. Just saw a video a couple days ago. Some of you fools already went out. Some of y'all already went upstairs. You see? Do that to them little kids, man. You see? But I like there's a certain sweetness to this, but it's naive and it overestimates human nature. Dear listener, this last paragraph right here, back in time when Earth was wild and free, we lived as a giant family. When did this happen?
Pray tell.
Once we discovered flint, we figured out how to turn that into an arrowhead. Tell me these scientists. I was just watching a 2-hour documentary on the Neanderthals and two other, I forgot what the speed. There was actually one that was located around the Russia area, and they had the coolest name. I forgot the name of that group of human beings. But aside from that, when does this happen? When does this moment in human history happen where we all saw each other as one big... That's not true. As a matter of fact, what's really fascinating is every major culture and minor culture has a flood legend. Mm-hmm. Every single one. Do you know why the flood happened according to Greek mythology? Do you know why the flood happened in Greek mythology? It's because human beings were horrible and Zeus sent the flood to punish humanity. Okay? When Nictinus succeeded to the kingdom of Arcadia, there occurred the flood in the age of Decaluion. Some said it was caused by the impiety of Lycaon and his son. Zeus, by pouring rain from heaven, flooded the greater part of Hellas so that all men were destroyed, except for a few who fled to the high mountains. Okay? So my point is, you look at Gilgamesh, the gods are angered by humanity's noise and commotion. Obviously, in the Bible, you see very clearly what caused the flood in Zeus. I mean, in the scripture. But every major society has a flood legend, and the vast majority of them attributed to something wrong with human beings. Or they say it happened as a result of a dispute among the gods, which really are psychological representations of what's going on with human beings. But my point is, this idea that we were all in a family and we all loved each other and all this, and then, like, here, let me ask this question. What is it about time that makes us worse? Because this happens on a generational level, right? Everybody says, oh, the previous generation was better, blah, 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 blah. Oh, it was better, it was better, it was better, it was better. And so there's always this idea that as time goes forward, things get worse. What is it about time that made it so that we're no longer this big, happy human family then? Like, it's almost like people are attributing some sort of causal force to the concept of time itself. Back in the day, we were all together, but now we all hate each other. Why? If we were all getting along together and there was no war and jihad and no assaults and things like that, how in the world did somebody come along and convince us all to hate each other? Human people want to believe that that's what happened because we don't want to say that it doesn't take much to turn us against each other. They don't want to say that. We want to believe that we're the type of people that let me tell you something. If there was a civilization of people that you found that was living in complete harmony and you showed up, in 5 years, the whole thing would be fucked up.
They wouldn't let you in. They'd be like, you are a chaos element.
Well, they probably would let you in. You know, I'm seeing all these aliens and all this shit, and they're like observing us, and they're like, yo, you guys fucking up the planet with y'all on. I doubt very highly that if we showed up to one of their societies, they'd be like, yeah, come on in. They'd be like, nah, man, we've seen you guys, man. Go ahead, go back to Chicago, Earth. Earth is like the Chicago of the universe. Them dudes are just out there watching us going, holy shit, you don't believe what the Earthlings did today. So my thing is, it's like, we've never been a happy family, bro. And what I love about the Bible is it's so honest and raw. Because on the one hand, the Bible starts out with a family, right? It wasn't a big family. It's 4 people: Adam, Eve, Cain, Abel. 4.
Well, I don't know. I would actually, I disagree with you there, Vin, because I think that before that first family, there was an original family, which is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So I think there was.
Yeah, I'm talking about human beings. I'm talking about human beings. I'm talking about human nature.
Let's say the original family, though.
So okay,
back in the day, it was good.
The original family on the earth, populated by human beings, were Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel. And I don't think Adam and Eve had a very good marriage. Every time this woman talks, she's got a great relationship with God. You don't even see them two talking anymore in the Bible. She's praying to God, and Adam is upset that Cain's dead, and whatever. But so the original family, the mom and dad, there's kind of like some tension there, and then the 2 brothers, we all know what happened with Cain and Abel. So the Bible actually starts out by saying we were a family, and then we were so horrible, but God was patient, and so he made more and more families. But then those families just continued the cycle of Cain and Abel until the flood. That's the diagnosis of humanity from the biblical world. This diagnosis, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But I unfortunately, in my view, I don't think, yeah. An Earthman today decided to eat his own face while high on narcotics. Here's Zorf with intergalactic weather. Correct. Them space aliens are like, man, if you don't get the fuck out of our galaxy. It's like one of them survival shows where you come around the corner, you're knocking on the door like, please, and they're like, we don't have any supplies, get out of here. So I love the vision of humanity, because I do believe that the big family idea is actually in the future, like on this earth. And I don't even believe like the second coming glory. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on this earth, we're going to go through a period where we actually function as family, and we are no longer hard-hearted. If you're a Western person, your heart has absolutely been calcified and hardened. If it wasn't, you'd be crying every day because of all the shit that we're doing to people all over the world. And you know that if somebody cuts you off in traffic, steals your parking spot or whatever, there's all this emotion. But we all know all the fucked up shit that's happening to people all over the world that look just like us, and we're fine. But God forbid somebody cuts you off in traffic. So we all want to believe that we're better than we actually are. Nah, man. Like, we're not a bunch of really good people who were family and somehow forgot that we're all family and just need to be reminded. Like, there's something radically wrong with us, man. There's something radically wrong with us discovering flint and saying, let's make an arrowhead. Us discovering nuclear technology, and instead of saying we could light every house in the world for free, we say, how many people can this thing kill? You invent the internet. The internet is great, but a lot of the internet is being used to traffic women. The internet has become the refuge of every disgusting perversion that you can think of and that you cannot think of. And now we're talking about AI, and now you're seeing people are terrified of AI. Do you know why people are so terrified of AI? Because they are anthropomorphizing the computer. They're saying,
that's true.
If I came into consciousnness
I had the capabilities,
and I had these capabilities, and I was not limited by physicality, I would fuck up everything.
I'd take over the world.
So we're humanizing this computer and projecting onto AI our horribleness.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah.
So then, how do you account for the stories of Sumerian Babylon and the Anunnaki and the Nibiru? I mean, I think secularists now are starting to come around, so good for them. But I think that that's evidence that there was one original story, and that if you go far enough back, especially in the A&E, you're going to see a bunch of similarities, and you're also going to see radical differences in the same narrative, which is exactly what you would expect if there was one original story and peoples that were part of that original story split off and went off and created different religions and societies and cultures, what we would expect to happen would be overlap and yet contradiction simultaneously. And that's exactly what we have in the ancient narratives relative to the flood. The Incas have a flood, the Aztecs have a flood, the Mayans have a flood. Lake Titicaca, for example, would be one example. The Greeks had a flood, the Chinese had a flood, and the majority of the time it has to do something with human misbehavior, say it that way. Okay, so it is sad, Delaney, but there is a cure. And I think as long, see, my thing, that's the reason from the beginning I've always said to everybody, you're not as good as you think you are. And a lot of people get upset about that. Oh, see what religion does to people, blah, blah, blah. Man, this can got shit to do with religion, bro. I've been around the world. That's the thing. I've seen people, and I've seen people in situations, completely different country, completely different religion, completely different upbringing, doing the same shit on a principial level no matter where we go. I didn't need the Bible to convince me that all of us are bent towards selfishness. All you have to do, dear listener, is look in the mirror. Y'all know them kids in Palestine are getting disassembled alive right now as we speak. You know that there's a bunch of kids underground and their parents can't get to them. You haven't shed a single tear. And yet somebody downvotes you on Facebook. It's the end of the fucking world. That's because you're a horrible person, bro. That's horrible. That's evil. To be upset about something as ridiculous as that while knowing that there's actual suffering in the world. It's incalculable how evil we are. So, the only way, I don't sit there and go, I'm evil. What I say is, okay, I'm evil. I'm bent towards selfishness. So if I'm driving by a guy and he's asking me for money, my first instinct is going to be ignore that guy. I have to know that about myself to have a fighting chance to do the right thing for that guy. That's my point. I'm not trying to break anybody down. I'm not trying to make you feel terrible. I'm not trying to advocate for my religion. I'm saying, can you be real for 4 seconds? You don't feel the pain you should feel for the sufferings of other people. You don't. Neither do I. Most of my emotions are wasted on me. Right? I spend most of my emotions on me and my little personal dramas. Okay? And I don't beat myself up about it, but it's selfish and it's horrible. Now, anytime I get that little notification from the Holy Spirit, I just throw it back on the cross and I go, oh, fuck, I fucked up. Here we go again. And I just put it on the cross and move on with my life, bro. And I don't know how y'all do it, and that's okay. You can do whatever you want, bro. I'm not here to convert anybody. I don't care. I'm just telling you what I do. And what I'm saying is, we can deny it all we want, but all of us are selfish, bro. You can call it sin. I don't really care. People have a problem with the term sin. Okay. You're selfish. You're not as bad as me, but you're selfish. Okay.
I like this one. It's a 9.9 for me.
Yeah. I really like the song. I like the hand drum part because it reminded me of the disposition reflection tool thing, which we did like 5 years ago. But like toward the end of Lateralis, there's this kind of like tribal, I think the album kind of ends that way. Like there's this tribal drumming and shit. And I just remember like when we were coming to the end of that live listen and they had that. And I was just like, on a beach was Carmen, Zonia, you, Pony's daughter. I think that was a roster, and Ian. And this is in my head. This didn't happen in real life yet, but we were there and around some fire on some beach at night, and Pony's daughter was running around the fire, and we're all just kind of looking at each other, loving the fact and appreciating the fact that
shout out to Gia.
We were all there. Yeah, shout out to Gia Genshin. We were just appreciating each other and appreciating the fact that we were all together listening to this crazy music. So it was a shout out to Christian Hart. Yeah, it was a cool moment. So when the guy was doing the little drum thing at the end, like it kind of brought me back to that moment. It was kind of like a full circle type of thing. So shout out to Carmen, gang shit. Okay.
So, Jason, you said, sorry, am I wrong for wanting to expand my knowledge outside of the Bible? I think my parents were the same way growing up. Like, especially the Book of Enoch was specifically brought up. Like, we weren't supposed to read anything outside of the Bible, really, or outside of the Bible and the teachings that would really align with the Bible. And I think that a lot of times has, I do think it's our parents' generation. I don't know if you're close to our age. But there's also like a fear that, like,
100.
what was expressed to me was be careful, because if you read something that's not the Bible, you might think that it's the Bible, and then you're going to be like guiding your life off of something that doesn't have biblical principles. And I was like, okay, because I was young. I'm like, okay, maybe. But I was always curious to know, like, the Jehovah Witnesses showed up. They've got their little thing. These people they've got their thing. Everybody's got their thing. And the only like approved way to learn about the other religions and stuff was by Christians who were talking about it. But what I ended up finding out, unfortunately, to my shame, once I met Vinny and I was in a lot of these different conversations with people, like for instance, I thought that on Halloween, to be honest with you, I'm still having a hard time to settle into the fact that this is propaganda that didn't really happen, because I'm still not convinced, because it was so put in my head. But that there are like Satanists or whatever that like have children that they birth throughout the year that are not like put in hospitals or records or whatever, and then they are sacrificed on Halloween. Vinny friggin' laughed his head off so much at me for even believing such a thing. And so there was just like a lot of that. It was like a lot of like this is what other people think.
I noticed. My head off.
Well, you thought it was funny that yeah, you did. It was even in one of the reviews you've laughed about it, because you were like, how can you believe this story?
I didn't laugh my head off. But I initially, actually,
I'm pretty sure it was even in a review one of the times you laughed about it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I initially was going along. I was like, she trolling me. Because when you didn't know, but anyway, I was like, she's trolling me, blah, blah, blah. I thought you were trolling me. It took me a while to be convinced that you believe that.
But anyway, regardless, it really, I do think that if there's like, this is me talking. Vinny would probably tell you something different. I think that you have to just be careful with how much outside information you're bringing into your mind over and against how much truth you're bringing in. So I think it should be fractioned appropriately. Like, if you don't really know the Bible very well, then be careful how much Book of Enoch you're going into. Like, get the Bible down, get the basics of your religion, your Christianity, and what it is between you and God down. I do think that there are certain elements of your relationship with God that can be deepened through other things, and but I think there's a lot of information out there, and I think that there's a lot of exciting information, and I think that it can help you if you have your principles and your worldview is settled. Then those other things can come in and be like, wow, that's really crazy. For instance, I talked earlier about the wars of the Jews, and how does that line itself up with the scriptures and stuff. So it's, but at the same time, like, I get it. Like, our parents are, like you said, your mom's just not cool with you reading the Book of Enoch. Totally get it. I came up from that sort of environment as well. So,
if you grew up with the Bible, you're almost 32. I mean, bro, you're a grown man. Like, a lot of this stuff really isn't that complicated. If you're 32 years old, bro, just go out and do your thing, bro. Like, if you were 17 or 18 or something like that, it'd be different. Like, you're 32, you grew up with the Bible. Like, if you don't have the basics down by now, man, just quit the game, bro. Honestly. Like, I think you'll be okay. Like, some of this stuff is like, our parents are fearful, and that's okay, but like, we're also responsible for what we do. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You're 32 years old? Come on, man. All right. I think we're good. We're out of here. I'm going to address one.
Yes, we're Chiro.
I'm going to address one thing here, and then I'm going to get out of here. Steve Blandon says, but it's okay that the Palestinian people chanting death to America, right? Or wrong? We should love each other because the end it won't matter anyway. Love the channel. No, I disagree with you. I do think that the Palestinians are right to say death to America. The Palestinians are not saying death to America because we have a baseball team. You might not know this, Steve. But when I talk about the Israelis bombing the shit out of Palestinian kids and putting them under tons of rubble, so that their parents have to identify them by their dental records.
Hold on.
Those bombs came from America. So when those people say death to America, what they're saying is they're calling on the Most High to stop the reign of death that's coming from the United States. So they absolutely have the right to say that, and they should. They should say that. Because we're the most powerful country in the world and nobody can fuck with us, and they know that. The only person that can defend them is God himself. So they should be doing that. They should be saying death to America. And if America won't repent, every Bible believing person should also be saying death to America. Read your Bible. There's a division of Psalms called imprecatory Psalms, where the psalmist is praying for God to destroy the wicked. Mm-hmm. Oh Yahweh, break the teeth of the lions. He wasn't talking about lions in the jungle. He was talking about oppressive people who were fucking people up for no reason. So, Steve, you may not know that your tax dollars have gone to massacre little Palestinian children in their beds. You may not know that. So I'm informing you. Your country, the reason those people are saying death to America is because they have no other recourse. It is amazing to me how much colonizers and the sons of colonizers have such a warped, please don't be angry at me. Steve, I'm saying this in the most technical way possible. Colonists and their children have such a warped understanding of human rights that they truly believe that when somebody resists and defends themselves, that there's some sort of equivalency. So now we're going to say that Hamas and these little Palestinians who are saying death to America, we're going to make some sort of equivalency between that and what the fuck the Israelis are doing. That's crazy. That's crazy. What we're asking those Palestinian people to accept, we would never accept. Those motherfuckers bombed us at 9/11, and we went out there and killed 1.5 million people, bro. We spent $8 trillion all over the Middle East. We fucking redid the map all over the Middle East during the Arab Spring, all on one attack for one day. But these Palestinians got a 9/11 every fucking day, and they're supposed to do what? When they know good and well that the only reason that these Israelis can do this shit is because we're supporting them? Nah, bro. You should thank the Most High that all them Palestinian people are doing the same death to America. You should bless the Most High every day of your life that's all those people are doing. Because you know, and I know, that if that shit happened to us, it wouldn't be no protesting. 9/11 happened. There were no protests. You know what happened though? If you go to the Army Depot or the Marine Corps Depot, there's lines all fucking all around, all back to your house, my guy. That shit happened to us. We said, oh, word? Oh, word? You did this to America? we were hearing Al Qaeda going all over the world, blowing people up, all type of shit. We didn't care. That shit happened to America. I was at the fucking Army recruiting depot, left my wife in the fucking hotel at our honeymoon. Taking a little pre-ASVAB thing with the recruiter. She's telling me, oh, you should go into intelligence, blah, 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 blah. I was like, hell no. Hell no. Give me a fucking 16s. People gonna have to die for this shit. New York is my city. That was one day. But we're telling these Palestinians to just eat shit and die. Crazy. Crazy. Love all you beautiful people.
One more, we get that band.
Shout out to Steve Blandon. I appreciate the dialogue, my brother. Back and forth. Let me post what Steve said for the record. Well said. I grew up Roman Catholic. The good book is the word. Thank you for pronouncing my last name correctly. But they've been saying that for years, not just recent. Yes, Steve, they've been saying that for years because we've been doing that for years. Please, Steve, I'm begging you, Google 1948, Google the Balfour Declaration, Google what our country has been doing in that region.
Yeah.
Of course they've been saying it for years. You think people in Palestine want to pick a fight with the biggest bully on the block? Think, please. I don't know, like, how you grew up. But where I come from, 170th and Grand Concourse over there in the Bronx, New York, I was in a deep ghetto, bro. We had this dude named Sinclair. And everybody knew to stay clear of Sinclair, bro. Sinclair come out and play basketball with us. The whole entire mood would change, bro. We all hit a ball. Hey, I'll pass the ball. Sure, Sinclair, whatever you want, man. I was like, what's going on with this nigga? Who is this guy? It's like, yo, man, that's Sinclair. I'm going to shot people, but you want to stay on this guy's good side. That is how the world looks at America. Them Palestinians ain't out there going, let's fight. Let's pick up what we've got. We're a dirt poor nation without a fucking air force. Let's go fuck with the biggest bully on the block. Does that make sense to you? The only reason I'm angry, though. No, Steve. I don't think you're angry, bro. I'm angry, though. Steve, I'm going to leave you with this. There's a story in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in the book of Ezekiel. And all this terrible shit has been going on in the city. And so God says, you know what? I'm leaving you guys. I'm going to send you guys to Babylon, and I'm going to take my spirit. I mean, go read it. Ezekiel 1, literally a UFO shows up, and basically God is saying, this is my chariot. Literally, it's a UFO. Lights, all that shit. And God says, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm out of here. And so I'm going to take my ship. I mean, that's literally what happened. And I'm going to take my ship and I'm going to leave the temple. My presence is gone. I'm out of here. I'm going to let the Babylonians come and fuck you guys up. And as this prophecy is going or whatever, Ezekiel sees this vision of these angels. And there's an angel and he's got a writing kit in it. This is weird. So Ezekiel's watching this discussion between Yahweh and this angel, right? So the angel shows up to Yahweh. Yahweh says, what you been doing? The angel says, yeah, I've been going around the city. And Yahweh says, listen, I want you to go to every household in Israel with your writing kit. And he says, everybody that mourns because of the sins of Israel and the bloodshed in the land, he said, make a mark on their head. The angel says, roger that. He goes around the city and then he comes back. And then Yahweh says, okay, now take your boys and go through the city and kill everybody who doesn't have the mark on the head. You know what that means? In that particular chapter, them folks got killed because they did not feel rightly about all the shit that was happening.
That's that prayer. Break my heart with the things that break yours.
Not that they didn't think rightly, but that they didn't feel rightly. Why? Because when you were faced with evil, your initial reaction is to go, oh my God, that's horrible. But then the minute you say that, it creates an obligation on you to do and say something. So what do? I'm going to start hardening my heart to these things so that I don't have to do anything about it. And as long as I'm not the one doing it, it's okay. And eventually you get to the point where you're so calcified that you have no emotion to the suffering of other people. And God said, the people like that deserve to die. That's the Bible. We should not be emotionally neutral when atrocities and genocides are happening. We should not wait till after Auschwitz to cry over the Jews.
Yeah, we should
Where
only
were
cry
we?
about what happened in other generations. We should cry about what's happening in our own.
We had these Jewish people in our fucking waters and we turned them around to the death camps.
Yeah.
That's human apathy. That's not, those people were like, fuck those Jews, send them back. No, it's just human apathy. Who are these people? What do they want? They turn around. That's what I'm talking about, bro. We cannot be emotionally neutral in these situations. It's not a virtue. Stoicism in the face of genocide is not Christianity. I think there's a lot of great things relative to Stoicism as a philosophy. But this is one of those where the wheels fall off. No, we need to be angry about what's happening to those people. Because if it was happening to our children, we would be inconsolable.
Mm-hmm. Shoot, we won't even let our kids get bullied. You know what I mean?
Hell no! Are you kidding me?
And that's like a kid their own age, you know, going at them. Forget about it.
Come on, man. See, Americans, we would never allow this shit to happen to our kids. But here's the deal, though, guys. My kids are not more important than them. They're more important to me, but they're not objectively more important than those other kids. All right. All right.
There's supposed to be another stream tomorrow at 10 p.m. If all goes according to plan.
They probably want revenge, though, which makes me angry that our government's going to cause the deaths of regular Americans because of their bloodlust. I mean, that happened in 9/11, but the sad truth is nothing is going to happen to us because of what we did to those people, Delaney. We've been fucking those people up since 1948, and they haven't been able to do nary a thing to us. Them people can't touch us, Delaney. You saw what happened. They touched us one time in 9/11, and we completely destroyed their entire fucking region. We said, I personally could tell you, we set that region back.
Hold on, buddy.
40 fucking years. The reactors and facilities that get taken out immediately before we even started real operations in Iraq. You guys have no idea. We sent those people back to the Stone Age. Like, you have no idea. And when you hear about, like, oh, we killed 1 million people, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but what about generators? What about hospitals? What about certain, places that are destroyed and facilities or whatever that provide power and electricity for people? Like, there's so many things that, like, Americans don't understand when we talk about war and the consequences therein. So, I mean, anyway. Horrible situation, but we got Delaney, we got Ian. You guys are the future. You guys, listen. I'm gonna leave with this. We got some really young people in our community that are turned on, that are curious. I say a lot of hard shit, and sometimes it might look like I'm pessimistic. I'm actually extremely optimistic about the future. And that's why I take a lot of time with the younger folks. Because you guys are going to be, when you guys come into your own, you're going to be more informed and more empowered than any group of people ever on the earth, ever. And so I think it's good for us to invest, because if we don't, all the people that we don't like, all the hyper-capitalists or the hyper-Marxists or the hyper-whatevers, they're going to influence those people, and it's not going to be good. Much love to all you beautiful people. If you have a joke for me, my brother, send it to me in a text. You got my number. All you other beautiful people, shout out to big homie Steve Blandon and everybody else. I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate the big homie Steve, because I said some really hard things and you did not respond in a defensive way, my brother. It was very convicting to watch you handle this discussion with me. I'm going to try to take notes and be like you the next time in one of these conversations. No bullshit. No bullshit. All right. Much love to all you beautiful people. Shout out to the big homie Neil Murray. I am out of here. Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Love your neighbor. Take care of each other. Shout out to the aliens. We gone.